Hey everyone, this is Linda. How you doing? Hey Leanne.
Hey, Leanne here.
Leanne and I were hoping to be in the same room today, recording some material for you as part of I Parent Teens. And sadly, we're not able to be in the same room. So I'm in Tasmania, Leanne's in Sydney, and with the flight restrictions and what's happening with COVID-19, we've decided that we're going to bring you some information online. So that's what we're here to do. Distance does not stop us from doing all those things that we want to do and help support you. So,
and Linda, can I butt in there?
Yeah,
what I find so interesting is that, I think as parents of teens, we often have all these issues with technology, and we're always moaning at our teenagers, you're on the devices too much, and come on, get off. And thank goodness for technology, because I'm sure it's the case for most parents around the world. If we didn't have technology that we could connect in this way, we'd really be struggling. So there's an upside and a downside to everything, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been laughing with my teens saying they had it right all along. And they're going, yes, yes. So technology is amazing. And you're right, you're spot on. Like with tech, in this environment where we need to get information and we need to, like, we're social distancing, but we don't want to be socially isolated. So technology is awesome for that. So everyone, Leanne and I have created something special for you, and it's called the QuaranTEEN Lounge for parents. And what we want to do with the QuaranTEEN Lounge is, as I say, particularly in this environment, we want to take the opportunity to share information with you on what's happening in this current environment, and importantly, how to manage it and how to manage it with your teens, because there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment, Leanne, fair to say.
Absolutely.
And so we want to be able to bring some certainty to you and some resources as well to help you manage what's going on in our space right now. And we don't know how long it's going to go on for, but there are lots of issues around, people working from home, whether our teens stay home from school, and how does all that work? So there's so much going on. So the purpose of the QuaranTEEN Lounge is to bring a lot of information and resources to you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. And, Linda, as we were talking about earlier, why would this be so important for parents and carers of teenagers? Let's face it, we already know that it's very hard to find a parenting manual that covers everything we need to do with teenagers. Well, throw in COVID-19 and the current uncertainty and everything that's happening in the world, there is absolutely no parenting manual that covers this. How actually to engage our teens, how do we keep things as calm as possible? How do we inform them? This is uncharted territory for everybody. So, this is a great opportunity for us to connect with parents and share, what we know and what we're learning on a daily basis through really what is a crisis that's happening globally at the moment. I think also being home-based, I know, Linda, for you in Tassie, you shut down schools today, and you've chosen to have your two teens at home and schooling from home. Well, the same with my daughter, her school shut down as of today, and they're doing online learning. So, again, unprecedented. We've never been in the situation where, we all sitting at home and working from home. And my hubby is working from home from tomorrow. So there are going to be 4 of us in one house. Where normally we used to, going to work or, the kids going to school and having an opportunity to be separated during the day and then come together at night. Now this is kind of, we're in the petri dish in a way of being together. And how do we handle that? How do we create some structure around that of things that we're going to look at?
Yes.
Also, in terms of why we're doing that is because of the level of uncertainty, is that our brains, if you look at the brain science and the research, our brains are switched on in terms of stress. Because you know, our primitive brain knows this is not a safe environment. We're hearing stuff from the news, we're hearing things when we're chatting to people in the streets, even if we're social distancing.
Yeah.
And our brain is detecting there is something going on. There's uncertainty, there's unpredictability. So pretty much our stress responses are going to be switched on. And when they're switched on, we tend to be more emotional. When we're more emotional, we tend to, you know, be shouting at each other in some cases, being more angry, being more sad. And that can create behaviors that can kind of spiral out of control. And, you know, we often talk about the roller coaster of those teen years. Knowing this and uncertainty 24/7 at the moment, that roller coaster becomes even more pronounced. And we know that teens experience emotions more intensely than adults. So really it's an environment that parents you know, are going to need you know, some support and help on how to navigate this tricky space. And I think the final thing in terms of, you know, why this is a great forum to have a discussion is there is still a lot of misinformation on a daily basis. You know, some media channels unfortunately are sensationalizing this and you know, making certainly a lot of teenagers and families even more concerned. And you know, you're getting the other channels that are keeping to the facts and, you know, with a sense of calm. So also, there's not so much in terms of what's available on the media on necessarily how to handle it with our kids.
Yeah,
so
totally.
For all those reasons, we're hoping that you as parents will find this super useful in terms of the QuaranTEEN Lounge and having a discussion. So Linda, I might hand over to you to just go through how we're going to do this over the next few weeks.
Yes, yeah, thank you. And I will do that. One thing that came to my mind as you were talking, and it's a bit of a visual as well, is that you've said to me numerous times, you know, like when we're feeling stressed out, our stress brain switches on. And I have this visual and our thinking brain switches off. And sometimes that's why we tend to react rather than respond to situations because we're not thinking clearly. So yeah, every time you talk about stress brain, I have that kind of visual going on in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, so in terms of what we're going to do in bringing this to you, Leanne and I are going to be recording every Monday and Wednesday, and we'll be looking at a range of issues that are on currently in the media, questions that parents are asking us. So if you have questions as well, pop them into the comments and we'll address it. So Mondays and Wednesdays we'll be recording and uploading for you, and on Fridays, and we'll put all the detail into our Facebook group, but on Fridays we want to have an online live forum, so you can jump on with any questions that you've got and we can answer them live. So if you've got stuff going on at home with your teens, if there's anxiety, if you want to share an experience or anything like that, we would really love to hear it. And we know already that parents have got lots of questions. There was a question from somebody the other day around, my teen doesn't always wash their hands when they go to the bathroom. And we responded to that by saying, you know, not all teens, in fact, not all people do that. So even stuff like that, that might sound like a really simple question, they're real and these things are on people's minds. So whatever questions you have around the current environment and how you can best work with your teens, we are here for you. So just to recap, Mondays and Wednesdays we'll upload something for you, and Fridays we'll have an online forum.
Yeah, no, awesome. And Linda and I are thinking what kind of topics, you know, based on the information that we've, you know, the questions that we've been getting from you, also looking out in, you know, at what's out on the media and concerns that are being raised in the media. So the things that we're going to be covering, just to give you a taste, is, you know, should we talk to our children and our teenagers about COVID-19? And if so, what does that look like? You know, should we, and I'm just referring to some notes I've got in front of me, you know, should we avoid the news? You know, if we're all sitting at home, you know, should the news channel be on? Should we avoid the news with our teens? You know, is there a perfect time to have a conversation? And if there is a perfect time, you know, what does that conversation entail? And, you know, also remembering that, you know, some of us are going to have teenagers that are particularly anxious. They might be warriors already. And so, you know, we already know from parents, they're a little bit concerned. They already worry. Well, you know, we don't want to give them more stuff to worry about. And so should we downplay actually what's happening? Things like how can we tell as parents that what's happening out there is impacting them, even if they're looking okay. So we're going to talk about things to look out that could be flags that they may not be coping. Also setting up routines in home with home isolation. You know, now that we all got to work from home potentially, you know, it might be happening now for you in total lockdown, depending on the country you're in, or it could be still, you know, going to be happening in the next few weeks. And then
can I just jump in there, Leanne, too, before you go on? And I think that's a really important one too, about having routines. And our teens need to have a sense of purpose, because if we don't have a sense of purpose, then we tend to worry a whole lot more. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, you know, just what kind of questions you may get. You know, some parents have said, you know, some of the younger teens have said, you know, are we going to die? You know, what happens if you die, Mom? What will happen to us? So really relevant questions that we need as parents to know how to answer. And then also, of course, we're going to be more stressed. You know, we're going to look at, you know, really basic ways that we can manage our stress, particularly as parents, because remember that our children will take the cue from us. If we generally calm, which is really tough in this environment to be calm, but if we generally calm, then they will take that cue from us when, you know, in dealing with this really difficult situation at the moment.
Yeah. So some great subjects there. And one of the things that I love that you do is stress and self-care. And for parents, that is going to be absolutely critical in this environment. So it's about how do we support our teens, but how do we look after ourselves? And I've been in a few of your workshops, and I just love listening to how you talk about stress and self-care, and it's so important.
Awesome.
But I've got a quote, and I'm just going to grab this quote, if that's okay, because I saw this just a little while ago, and I thought this is so relevant. A lady by the name of Karen Salmonson said, anxiety happens when you think you have to figure out everything all at once. Breathe, you're strong, you got this. Take it day by day. And that really resonated with me, because this is a day-by-day proposition. You know, we don't have to think about it and find an answer today, and what we do today isn't necessarily the answer that we have tomorrow either. So yeah, that totally resonated.
Awesome. All right, so Linda, I think we've done our job. What do you reckon? In setting up the quarantine lounge, and we're looking super forward to you know, chatting and having some ongoing dialogue, and as Linda said earlier, answering any questions you may have. We really would love your input, because it's only two of us just, you know, making a decision as to what we'll include. What we'd love to have is that it's, you know, 1,000 of us doing it, because your circumstances are all really different, and what may be really irking you or stressing you out through this might be different to what Linda and I are seeing from our side of the world. So please be open and let us know what you want to know about.
Yes, totally. So I look forward to seeing you in the Quarantine Lounge Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
Can we finish off with a virtual high five?
Okay, virtual high five. All right.
See you then.
Bye. See you.